All right. Hello, everyone. Let's get into it. Uh, oh yeah. Before I really get into it too, I need to edit the thing in the background. That's good enough. So yeah, we're gonna be doing some tier lists today. Everyone come in, get settled in, put on whatever music you need to. It's gonna be a great time. I've been meaning to go back and do tier lists for quite some time actually now. Okay, now that should be good now. Can I? Maybe it might be. You might be hearing some stuff in the background. I don't know though. We will see about that. Watch me rank every game I have completed. Live stream, chatting, uh, gaming. Let's put a little trophy emoji. I'm pretty sure they have one of those, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, and obviously the red dot. Dunk. It's crucial. You might hear me humming to some of my music in the background. I can't play all of my music because copyright, but I implore all of you to go ahead and put on whatever you like. That way we can all enjoy ourselves here. Alrighty. I'm just about ready. Give me one more second. I think we're all good to go. Today may or not be not a long, a short live stream, depending on how quickly I do some of these. But I am looking for competitive arguments, one way or the other. So we will see how that goes. I haven't done one of these in a while. It's going to be very interesting to get back into it. That's right. I think I had you guys like this before. Okay. Sorry, I was organizing my plushies. Okay. We're going to start things up here at least. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Today, we're going to be doing some more tier lists, which we haven't done in quite a while, actually. Last I checked on the channel, we did a live stream for a tier list about like 3 years ago. So it's been quite a while. I'm actually very glad to bring these back, though. I've had so many ideas of things to rank, and today is one of the very few things that we are ranking. I'm gonna let the subtitles catch up a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Translator Kun is here to provide subtitles for the Japanese audience. Hope it is not the best, but it works for what it is. So we're gonna be just talking about video games. I'm gonna go through every game I've completed, and I am which isn't a whole lot. I wanted to start with the completed games first because it was a category that is a little bit shorter, and it'll kind of get me back into the feel of like how to do tier lists again. I do eventually want to do all the games I've beaten to, but I think I'm going to be breaking that off into various segments because I want to do it probably by console. That way I can kind of segment everything as I need to. Because there's a lot. There's a lot of games I've beaten in my lifetime, um, but there's only a few of them that I've actually been able to complete 100%. So we're going to be going through those today, and we're going to rank them based on how great they were to how not great they were. And just because for the sake of this is the games that I've completed, I am going to be ranking these ones based on how much I liked the completion aspect of the game. So basically how much I enjoyed going through, finding everything in the game, and if it's worth doing, basically. So for anyone who has played these games and have gone through the same experience, please give me your input. I am very curious to hear what you all have to say about it. Hello, Pansy. So we're going to see how well things go with this one. But I'm very excited because I haven't done one of these in a while, and I have wanted to talk about these games in this kind of capacity for a little while now. I usually say stuff like this for the wrap-up streams, but this is actually one where I can actually competitively put them on a list and see how well they rank up and stack up against each other. So let's get into it. Boosh. All right. So we got our tier list maker here. I have all of the games that I have beaten all collected down here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that is 28, about 29 games I've beaten technically. I think there's a higher number on my backlog rate just because some of the games are like parts of other games. But I kind of have streamlined it, so I put those collections together. I tried my best to find the box art for all the games to kind of make them fit around the same look. As you can already see, the only one I wasn't able to do was the Street Pass games. But that will leave it to its own kind of thing. All right, but this is kind of really in no particular order. This is just how they appeared in my folder when I did it. So I'm just kind of go from top to bottom and then just see how things go from there. All right. So first game on the list to talk about is Calico. Calico is a nice little cozy game where you are a caretaker of this like cat cafe, and you are basically going around the world collecting, no, you're collecting all these bunch of cats to add to your cat cafe. You're making treats for the people that come through. Talking to townsfolk. it's an interesting kind of world that they have built for it because it's like a whole you have your cafe in one little spot and then you have this whole world around it where you kind of go out and explore and talk to people. Um, it's a very like cute game. Like it was one of those games that I actually kind of really got into for a little while, even though it was super weird. But I did enjoy at least going through and finding everything in this game. Calico's easy S tier. I don't know about S tier, but I definitely think that it was a really good game that I really liked. I'm gonna put it up in A for now, just to debate on here. But I did like the idea of going through all the little parts and nooks and crannies of the game, finding all the cats. Some of them were harder to find than others. I had to kind of look up some to see exactly where they were. But the game gives you pretty good hints to do it, and uh, and yeah, some of the mini games can be a little like samey in a bit of a sense. So all in all, though, it wasn't really a bad experience. At least I would definitely say it's at least an A tier for my personally, because while I didn't like necessarily, there are some parts of the completion aspect I was a little grueling on, but all in all, it wasn't really a bad one to do because it was a fairly easygoing game by itself. It's not like anything was super hard to do. It was just, I guess, a little tedious, I guess is the main word to use. So that's probably what I would say for Calico at least. Uh, I think it's a really good game though. I definitely recommend people play it if they like casual little games, exploration, if they like cats, and if they just like some really weird stuff, because it's a weird game. But I liked it a lot though. Okay. Um. Pansy going ahead and list. Mario Galaxy gets a D tier because Luigi can't ever stay still when I need him to. Yeah. No, actually, we could talk about we can talk about Mario Galaxy. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with skipping ahead in the list. Where is it on here? Right down there. There it is. Yeah, Mario Galaxy. I actually really did enjoy playing this game a lot. I do agree the 100% completion aspect of the game is a little hard to do because you have to go through the entire game again, but as Luigi. And Luigi's a slippery boy. He's a slippery boy. Um, he does have some slight differences to Mario in terms of gaming, but it really does kind of feel like playing the same kind of game, but now there's different kinds of stars to get, which they did vary it up a little bit so you're not doing the exact same thing every time. But at the same time, yeah, it's a little eh in terms of it. I would definitely recommend playing Mario Galaxy though. Mario Galaxy is a really good game. Um, I liked just even the base game of it, of just collecting all the stars. But doing completion, I think, is a little tedious. Especially some of the stars. Some of the stars are hard as shit. Going through as Mario was okay, but Luigi's run was hell. Yeah, yeah, because there was some of the Comet stars and some of the Luigi stars that were really hard to get, and it took me several tries to get through some of those. They make it a decent challenge, and also there's some mini games that are just based on just so much precise timing and so much precise controlling. Like I think one of the trash mini games I was stuck on for a while because it was just hard to execute, you know. But overall, I still like playing the game. At least it's a great game. I highly recommend it. But if you're going for completion, just be prepared for all the things you might have to do to get every star. I think it's still ultimately worth it. That's why I think B tier is a good fit for it because it's still rewarding, but some of those stars are a little hard. So definitely keep that in mind if you're thinking about going and completing to completion for it. Um, on the topic of Mario Galaxy, let's talk about Mario Galaxy 2 since I've also completed that one. I would say I think Mario Galaxy 2 was a little bit better to complete than Mario Galaxy 1, so I'm actually going to move it up the tier list a bit. But I still think that it was about around the same tier at least. Uh, just because again, it was the same kind of thing as Mario Galaxy 1, just some improved stuff. But again, some of the stars were still as hard to get through as the other ones in the first game. But I don't know. I think I still kind of liked. I really enjoyed Mario Galaxy 1. I'm not sure if I prefer it over 2. I kind of like them both in the same respect. They were kind of just both the same like great kind of cake there. Odyssey's SC for sure. I would go through that game all over again. We'll go through all the Mario games. Why not? We have all the Mario games here, basically. I would actually honestly agree with you, Pansy. Odyssey is probably an S tier because I actually really did enjoy going through and finding every moon in this game, even if some of them were kind of to go through. But no, the completion aspect of this game is great, actually. Especially because near the end of the game, they give you some really great rewards for getting and collecting all these stars or not stars, the moons, I should say. Getting all the moons in the game is actually really nice. They had a lot of stuff that they gave you and a lot of stuff that was unlocked. A lot of like it was, and even just the experience of finding the moons themselves was kind of cool too, because all of them were some of them were a little bit tricky. Some of them were like, oh yeah, that's this thing, but it's on this planet instead. Um, but yeah, I really liked it though. I think it's definitely worth completing. Out of all the Mario games to beat and complete out there, I would definitely recommend this one over it, over all the rest of them. A few of the moons were bullshit, but yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would say yeah. I enjoyed definitely getting all the power moons more than getting all the power stars from Galaxy. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that though. All right. I think that's a pretty good list there too. We have an L shape, which is great. Let's start with the let's just keep going down the list for the next Mario game. So on here we also have good old Mario 3D World. Um, Mario 3D World is an interesting experience to try to complete. Um, I I don't know if I would. It's kind of either B or A for me. I'm gonna place it here for now, just to kind of get some, just to give it A placements for right now. But I would say, and I do have Bowser's Fury on here too because I did also go in and complete the stuff for Bowser's Fury as well. Bowser's Fury I think made it a little bit better. To be fair, I liked the trying to get all the stuff for that one, and through 3D World had some hard stuff to get through though, especially like Challenge Road at the very end. I think actually that's probably the main reason why I would probably put it in B tier is just because it was like some of the stuff was kind of bullshit. Also, especially the fact that they expect you to clear and get to the top of every flag of every level with every character. So that's a little But in terms of that, I would actually probably put it right here in B because I still like doing it, but there are some challenges where it's just like, really, why are you making me do this? I never played the other two, so I can't really give my 2 cents on them. That's fair. But I would say that's my reasoning for Mario 3D World. It's just because there was some stuff and stickers and stuff to get in that game that were a little like, why am I, why do you want me to do this game? Like, do I have to get it to the top of every flagpole with every character? Super Mario Wonder, on the other hand, is total bullshit. I don't think I've actually completed, yeah, I never completed Wonder yet. That's why it's not on this list yet. But I believe you. I believe there is some. I just beat the game and I kind of left it at that. But I believe that there are some levels in there that are definitely on the higher end of bullshit. I believe you on that. Last Mario game we're going to talk about is Super Mario Brothers 2. I would say this is probably actually right in the same lane as all of the rest of these games. I did enjoy playing and beating and completing this game. It's a good time. It just basically is more of this new Super Mario Brothers formula. Some of the star coins are a little bit out of the way and or hard to find unless you have a guide, which I had to do. And then some of the challenges to clear, I think the 5-star profile, that was also interesting. It wasn't too bad. I would say it was still worth doing, but I'll probably put it within the same lane at least of terms of my how satisfied I was with completing it at least. Don't bother with Mario Wonder. The last level is hell, and I never truly completed it. I just let my lives run out and said, "Fuck it, it's complete." I guess that's fair. Yeah, that is very fair. there's probably some parts of it that I still want to do, but and I might return back to it for that. But if it ever gets to that point, then I'm not gonna bother. Yeah, because yeah, again, the completion aspects for those, that's when when you get to the point of completion in the game where you're just like, I don't want to do this. That's when it loses it. You know. All right. So now we're gonna go back to the top of the list. My Sims agents. To be fair, I don't remember a whole lot about My Sims Agents. I do remember completing it because it wasn't a hard game to complete. It was basically just kind of like one of those like kiddie games that you could just easily go through and beat stuff for. They had a couple of little collectibles around, which is why you had like a thing you can complete for it. Um, it kind of reminded me in the same vein of like the Lego games in terms of how its layout was and how in terms of its collectibles. It was very much like along the same line of like how you would do it. But yeah, I again I don't remember a whole lot about it, so I just remember that I did actually go through and I beat and complete everything on it while I still had my Wii. So I don't I don't really know what to say about it. It's just I think it was kind of just a C tier experience. Like it was fine. It wasn't something that I like felt like that I was grueling to do, which is why I won't put it in D. But I feel like that's kind of like where I wanted to be across everything at least. It was really much just like a middle of the road kind of thing. Like it was just fine. That's how I'm kind of doing these tier lists too. S is like, oh, this is great, or this is amazing. A is really good. B is like, okay, it was good. C is it was fine, and D is just like, ugh, bad. D is bad, much bad. Um, we were here. I do remember completing this game because I got every achievement for it, and I did like grind through it with Chris at one point. Um, I thought it was I thought it was just kind of fine. I wasn't really as much into it. Like it wasn't like a bad experience to complete it. It was just like an experience. So yeah, very much in the same vein of like how I felt after doing my Sims Agents. It was just like okay, that was interesting. There wasn't too many challenges to do with we were here too. We were here. It the whole thing about the game is that it's you're doing a co-op adventure with your other person on call, and you just try to complete puzzles by giving each other's information from the other side. Um, there's apparently like multiple endings, which is why we had to beat it. We had to play and beat it a couple of times to get the other ones, and so that's what we grinded through to quickly complete that. It wasn't too bad though. It really was just a point of just like okay, this guy goes to the gold first, then you go to the goal first, and you just gotta find all the things and see all the things. And it wasn't like it was an interesting game by itself. I would definitely like if you have a good friend to play with, probably a good playthrough at least the first time. But I don't know about going through to complete it. I don't think you need to at least. It's not really a fulfilling experience to do so. It's just it's something you can do. That's kind of how I feel about it. A Morris S rank. Nothing's enough said. Next game. Okay, but I'm unironically thinking about leaving it there because I really loved Morris, actually. It was actually one of my favorite visual novels. Mercy is best girl. I still like Skyla the best. Skyla is my favorite one. But I actually really liked all the characters in it. I like going through all their routes, seeing what they were all like. It it was one of those visual novels that I kind of wanted to keep playing just to see how everything went. And I may have seen like every single interaction with every character, or like choice you would have made with them, but I at least definitely played through what I did, and I still liked what I did with them. They were all very nice. I would, if you are a furry, definitely recommend Morris for you. um, Also, especially if you are into the ecchi hentai games, it's definitely it's a good playthrough. It's very good actually. Ha, furry. He says as he also praises the game and its characters as well. That's fine. No, I am. I'm actually legit 100%. Like, I'm pretty sure Remorse was like one of the best games I completed. At least in terms of visual novels. There's definitely other games that did things better and had better challenges and stuff to it, but I really enjoyed going through this. It's an experience that will definitely stick with me for a while. I'm not a furry, but I don't know what you're talking about. Sure, Vansy. Sure. Plan, I'm going to safely move into D tier. That is a decided D tier for me because that game is just. I don't even know if you can actually play Plan anymore. It's literally just a game where you are a fly and you are buzzing around these little obstacles to get up to a light until the game ends. And I can tell you right now, that game probably lasts a total of like 5 minutes, and you are done. Which is why it was very easy for me to complete because I beat it the first time through. I saw, oh hey, this thing has achievements. I went through and did all the things the game wanted me to do, and I'm like, okay, that's it. And I am done with it in like an hour. Actually, I think it took me less than an hour to complete it, to be fair. It was. I don't even remember how I got it. I think it was a free to play game, which is mainly where I found it from. And I heard it was, I think, easy to beat. And it was. So I just tried it out, and that's where a lot of my stuff came into. But no, it's definitely not worth. I don't think it's worth playing or completing, to be fair. Just because it was, I think it was supposed to be one of those games that was like a thought piece. Like, it's supposed to have like some kind of symbolic meaning and stuff to it. But in terms of its actual gameplay, it's just you go through a few little pathways. You try to avoid the things that are trying to kill you, and then you reach the end. It's very short and very, at least in terms of like how it was presented, it was not very interesting to me. So I will safely put it into D tier. Just take it from me. Do not bother with it. Sonic Frontiers. I did recently complete this game, so I can actually talk about it in its completion aspects. I mean, see, here's the thing too about Sonic Frontiers is I technically have not really completed everything of it. I haven't really gone through a lot of the new content for it, but I have completed all of the base game stuff, and I've completed like all of the like before they did the big update for it. I completed everything from that point. And I also got all the trophies. So, like, I maxed out the character and did all the stuff for Sonic in that way. Um, Pretty good game to complete, actually. I actually did really like Sonic Frontiers. Some of those challenges, and especially the new content, is some utter bullshittery that I have ever seen. Some of the most utter bullshit I've ever seen. Um, but I did like completing everything else, at least. I would actually say, just because of all of it, probably put in B tier. I had to force you to complete it, yeah. Well, it's because I didn't really feel like it was worth me getting that last trophy, just just because it was such a small task. But I did eventually own up to it and just decided to go for it. It really wasn't that hard. It was just find the same enemy and do a Phantom Rush on him a lot of times. I understand trophies that make you do a thing for the first time, but I don't like it when they force you to do it like 50 times. I think those are just lazy trophies, lazy achievements. Like, why do you make me do the same thing multiple times? I get you want me to use it more often in the game, but like, don't lock it behind a trophy. I think it should be. I think trophies should be forced to be milestones or important things that happen in the game, rather than statistics of things that you can do. That's my personal opinion, at least. But yeah, no, I did. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it basically as much as I enjoyed all the rest of these games, in terms of its completion aspect. Even just Sonic Frontiers is just a good game to run around in every now and then. It's just it really does make you feel very fast in an open world Sonic kind of way. It was pretty good though. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes open world Sonic racing games, or not racing games, action games really, because he does a lot more fighting in this one than he does in the other ones. Speaking of adventure games, Horizon Adventure. Horizon Zero Dawn. I did complete the first game because I did get like all the trophies for it. The only thing I think I haven't done for Horizon Zero Dawn is I think there's like one last trophy that I have to get for the DLC content for Frozen Wilds, and that's just for finding all of the Frost Claws and or not is it Frost Claws or Fire Claws? I think it's all the Fire Claws. You had to basically go around and beat them, and they're really hard enemies, which is why I kind of stopped doing it. Um, but there is some other game things I want to do with this too, because they added some extra achievements after the fact too that are past the platinum for the game, including the ultra hard mode, which I do want to try out. So I'll still eventually probably go back through the game just to do ultra hard. Um, I also want to try it without the HUD because I heard that that's a really cool experience too. But in terms of completing and getting everything in the game, it was all right. I think a lot of games are going to go into B and tier because I kind of feel that way about a lot of the completion aspects for games. It was definitely all right to complete. Um, there are some cool things that this game had you do, but there's also some very like things that the game tries to make you do, like getting all of the training camps and all of the all the contracts done. I'm still doing that for freaking Forbidden West, and which is kind of it's still a kind of a process. But doing it at least for the first game, it was all right. I at least the main thing I liked about doing completion for these kind of games is I like just exploring the world and finding new things. Um, and they definitely got a lot of that from just doing that. But a lot of the stuff that they kind of hide out in there is stuff that isn't really either worth the effort or it's stuff that's a little bit just like slightly underwhelming for what you had to do to get to it. Like they don't really give you a good amount of reward for the stuff you do, but they give you like the trophies and they give you some of the um in-game stuff and weapons. Some things have some pretty good loot though, but not everything at least did. But it was still a fine experience I think overall. I would definitely at least recommend a good playthrough. I think it's definitely worth a playthrough. It's one of my favorite PlayStation games that I played. Oh yeah, I did complete Emily's Away. This is an easy game to complete just because it was a very short game and there wasn't a whole lot to do throughout it. Um, the completion aspect again for it was kind of fine. It was very much in the same realm as these types of games. It was just kind of something I did because I was just like, okay, it's easy to do. I may as well just go ahead and try to go through it. But yeah, I still enjoyed Emily Was Away even just by itself. It was an interesting little game where you just talk to someone through like an AOL messenger. It was kind of like one of those games that had like a deep thing to it, and you kind of are supposed to form this connection with this character that you don't technically meet. Um, but it was all right though. I think it was all right. I wouldn't really recommend going through to complete it, but at least maybe try it out. I think it's a decent playthrough at least. I don't know if I'm describing these games in a provoking or interesting manner, but this is just what I think about things. Henry Stickmin was a great game to complete. Um, this game actually really kind of hammered home the idea of trying to complete it because there's so many games or there's so many things inside of it that kind of make you there there is some parts of it that are a little hard to deal with, and that's only just because some of the characters that they force you to click the bios for are they show up in a very specific cutscene in some of the places, and they only show up for like a second. So you have to quickly hover your mouse over them and go pop. It's kind of like and if you don't get them the first time, then you have to replay the cutscene and get it again. That part I didn't really like, but I liked everything else about it. Like going through all of the different routes and seeing all the different outcomes for everything that this guy did is quite hilarious and quite great. A lot of great references in it too as well. I should stream Henry Sigmund at some point. I think you would. I think it would be a great game to stream, honestly, because of the choice-based stuff on it. There's some great reactions to be had with some of the hijinks in this game, and the collection is like the whole big package of like all the stuff that all their past games did. and kind of upscaled to the current genre too. So I think it's really good. I know there are some bugs in the game depending on like what thing you're playing on, but like what aspect ratio or something that you're playing on, I think. But I still like the completion aspect. They definitely had a lot of stuff for you to do to complete, and a lot of hidden stuff that you wouldn't think about going into until you kind of opens up more. But I thought it was really cool. One of my favorite games to complete by for sure. Also recommend definitely if you like um what's it like if you like those old Flash games, it's definitely right up your alley. And it has a lot of great like old um memes and references from other things in the past. I guarantee you, at least, especially if you are a gamer or even an anime person, you will find some reference in here that you'll be like, hey, I recognize that. Something will click to you, no matter who you are, basically. Vampire Survivors. I love this game. It was a great experience. I still sometimes play it just because it's such a good game. It's also definitely again one of those games I don't mind completing because you get a lot more ridiculous and crazy stuff for some of your characters after you unlock some of the other ones. And again, the way that this game works is even after you die your first couple of times, it encourages replayability because it's like, okay, go ahead, get this far with this character, or get these power ups and or upgrade these things for your power ups because you at the end of every run you get like a certain amount of currency to buff your overall party up and overall thing up. So you just kind of keep going over and over again, getting progressively stronger and more broken until eventually you're walking around these places and your bullets are just going across everywhere. There's enemies dying every which way and direction around you. Um, at some point, especially at late in the game, you start to feel like a god. You feel like an unstoppable machine at some point after getting a good combination of upgrades from the game. It's kind of ridiculous. I removed Vampire Survivors from my backlog because it kept adding achievements. That is very fair. They do keep adding new stuff because they keep adding new content. I don't remember if they did another crossover event, but I know they did one with Among Us, which I think was like the last big one I did too. I mainly put on my completion because I completed a lot of the main basic aspects of the game. I think I'm still going through some of the new content and the DLC for it, but no, it's still pretty good overall. It's very good if you like roguelikes. Very good if you like just the casual nature of rolling around and avoiding enemies and killing them with your passive abilities. It's it's also very quite addicting. It's quite addicting. Again, like I said, I still go back to it every now and then. It's such it's such an addicting game. I was also hooked on it for like so long after I first played it. It's crazy. But no, definitely S tier game among all these other ones here. Okay, Building Full of Cats. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put that in S tier because this is honestly a really good game to complete. This game basically kind of actually encourages you to complete it in a way because it is a simple game of find the cat in every building, and it's like all a hand drawn kind of thing. You're just looking at this big. It's like one of those find the find the picture in the mess of a picture kind of thing. Like it's kind of like Where's Waldo, but it's Where's the cat, and you're just kind of looking for all these cats in all these different rooms and places. Um, it was such a cute and great and little game to go through. I and going through and actually looking through all these pictures and trying to find every cat. It was just like, oh, there it is, there he is. It has cats, so therefore it's S tier. It's also true, just because the fact that it has cats, very good game overall in that fact. But yeah, I also like the lore implication too that every time you click on one of the cats in the game, you are able to pet it. So it's just like once you've gotten everyone, he's like, yes, you have pet every cat. All cats have been pet. They will not escape my hands. But no, it was such a great little game. It wasn't like a really long or hard game to beat, obviously, but I think it's definitely just worth a go through, especially if you like the little hidden picture games like these, where you just go around and try to find all the things. It's very nice. But yeah, very simple little thing though, at least. So next game is going to be sure, yeah, the Street Pass Plaza games. I kind of just put this in a collection here, just because I have completed some of them. I haven't completed every Street Pass uh, Plaza game, but I have completed enough of them to at least probably form an opinion on the whole on it overall. Um, some of the games I actually do really like completing. Other ones are very much hit or miss. I'm gonna put in the C tier just overall, just because the process, especially nowadays, to get street passes is not worth the completion aspect for some of these games. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Unless you have something like the net pass system where you can actually get street passes from people from the internet, it is not really worth doing street pass games anymore. No one has the 3DS anymore. I've tested it. There's no one out there that has it that uses this game. I've seen some people on like very rare occasion, but basically no one in the area has this kind of thing anymore or uses it. It is very much a relic of the past. Um, but when it was going on, it was a fun game. I really actually liked going through it, but I definitely would not recommend going through to try to complete anything of it nowadays. This is definitely not worth it. Uh, but I enjoyed all the games in that. I still enjoy some of the mini games in that collection, which is why I still play them. I can still technically play them because they implemented a system where you can use play coins instead that you gain from walking to get the people for the games. So that's basically what I've been doing now to kind of fulfill my progress in that. It is a very slow process, let me tell you, because you can only get 10 play coins a day, which I think is like 1,000 steps worth of walking, and I think they cap at like 300. So, you have to spend 10 to get the full roster for any minigame. So, yeah, it's a it's a bit of a process, let me tell you. Just knowing that no one else plays 3DS anymore, it makes me feel old. No, you know what? I feel it too, because I played the hell out of these things when I was in my high school days. Like that was like my main machine I carried around with me the whole time, and I was getting street passes left and right back in the day. It was a great time to have a 3DS, especially around that time. Not so much anymore though. But yeah, I still go through them occasionally because there's some games I want to see the completion, and try to be in complete for it. So it is getting harder though to do because my 3DS is slowly getting to the point where the A button just does not work on it anymore, and it will not respond to me. So it's hard. That's why I got the 2DS so I can play 3DS games if I want to again. Uh, but yeah, nothing about old man rambling. It's definitely C tier at least for sure now. Uh, Pilot Wings Resort. Here's another game that makes me feel old. I did complete this on my 3DS way back in the day. It was an enjoyable experience actually, from what I remember. It was basically one of those games where you're going through the Wii Sports Resort island, but you are basically controlling this plane, and you're trying to basically go through and uh, go to all the hot spots of the island, um, do challenges that make you kind of like land and go through rings and such. It's like one of those that like flight simulator kind of things. It was fairly enjoyable. I uh I remember actually liking completing it just because all the whole thing about the game was that you kind of they had all these hot spots around the island that you had to visit and do these challenges for, and I kind of was very curious to go through all of it. So I actually did enjoy like going through and going to all these places, doing all the little challenges. It was a very like neat little game for what it was. Um, Again, if you have a working 3DS, I would say it's a pretty good play, but it's a very, very old game at this point now. So I still enjoyed it though myself at least. Um, but yeah, overall, not too bad. Oh yeah, hold on, I need to fuel up on water. My throat is beginning dry because I'm about to go into Detroit. All right, Detroit Become Human. Um, this is personal bias, but I love this game. It's one of my favorite what's it called? Choice-based narratives that I've played for a long while. Um, it's some of the stuff in the game is a little weird, a little wacky. Um, some of it's and you definitely have to go against some of your like actual morals to try to get every ending and everything in the game. But I still enjoyed going through and viewing every ending and viewing everything that I could in this game. Um, actually, I don't know. Actually, I'll keep an S tier just because I love it a lot. The main aspects I didn't like about the completion for this game is they do not make it easy for you to go through old cutscenes in the game unless you've already played through them in a specific faction. You kind of have to plan out what routes you're going to take and what choices you're going to make overall to see to see the events that you need to see in the game, because they don't have like a toggleable like system to see what choices you've made throughout the game. You kind of have to go through the game in earnest every single time, and it makes the replayability of it a little bit hard, just in that aspect because it is a decently long game. Like I think it takes like at least a good like 10 or so hours just to get through the main story, something like that. And you have to do that like multiple times just to just to get some of these endings. Some of them you can get in the same playthrough because all you have to do is go continue from an older choice and then continue it on from there. Um, but again, you kind of have to plan that out if you're doing completion for it. I think it's definitely worth a first playthrough. Uh, Completion for it is okay. Again, as long as you're willing to do multiple playthroughs, I think it's okay if you want to try to go for completion. If you want to go for true completion like I did, it's going to be a bit of a struggle because you have to plan out a couple of the routes that you're going to try to do with it to really like maximize the amount of time not wasted going through the same cutscenes over and over again. So, in that respect, it might not be worth doing it for completion sake, just to see every cutscene, especially when a lot of those cutscenes and things that you can see are available on YouTube. You can easily see them up on there if you wanted to. Doing it in the game is a bit of a hassle though. But the actual trophies for the game aren't too bad to go through at least. Some of them are like a little bit very event specific and time specific, but a lot of them aren't too hard to do really. And again, some of them do require some planning because like what I had to do before, I think the one that was the hardest one for me to get was the the treatment to have Connor visit every grave that he's been to, for every time that he was able to die in the game. That was a interesting little playthrough of mine because I literally had to kill him every single opportunity I could. Hate to do that to my boy, but it had to be done. uh, I still enjoy the game a lot though. I enjoyed it enough to where I was able to go. I wanted to go through it multiple times. Some people might not like that, but I could see at least some people, at least like me, would be fine with it. Next game on the list, Hatsune Miku, Project Diva, Future Tone. I played a lot of this on my PS4, back when I first bought it and first got it. It was a actually really cool game. I really love rhythm games, and a lot of the completion that went into this was basically just play all the songs on hard, so I unlocked all the difficulties. Um, get at least, I think I had to play at least a couple of them on expert and get a certain percentage on a bunch of them to get the final trophies for it. Um, Again, if you're not really good in rhythm games, it might be hard to complete it, but I like going through it. It was pretty good. I definitely recommend it for anyone who likes Vocaloid, or anyone who likes rhythm games even. I think it was just a overall decent experience. Overall, um, I actually like playing all the songs in it too. So overall, in terms of at least trying to complete it, I don't know if I don't know, either A or S actually for me, because I really did like it, but I don't know if I was like in love with it like these other ones. And again, I did really get into this game at some point. I do want to actually go through and try to get through the other ones, so I think we can go ahead and put it up there. I did enjoy trying to go through with that one. I think it deserves its placement at least. And actually, because of what I was saying before about the actual grinding and completion aspect for some of these games, I'm actually gonna move Detroit down one more, just because I said like again, it's a bit tedious to get through some of the completion for those routes. If you're trying to go for completion like I did, but all good. Miku's automatic S tier. Yeah, I can, I'll give her the S tier. I think that game series definitely at least deserves the praise and love it gets. All right. Next up, Murder by Numbers. So this is a little game where you go through a basically like a detective kind of plot line with this robot companion who is able to find clues and stuff for you through the use of Picross puzzles. So you have to basically fill out all these little puzzles that fill out these pictures, and they turn into clues and evidence that you can use to further your cases with the growing plot line. The characters in this game were actually really cute and really fun. Um, Overall, the completion aspect for it was basically just you're trying to get through you're trying to find and go through every single place and do all the challenges for it. I mean, if you like the cross puzzles, I would say it's definitely at least worth the completion for it, because they do give you some stuff for doing it, but at the same time, the actual rewards you get for it, besides the trophies, I think isn't really like all up there with what you get for doing some of the later puzzles in the game. So just by that, I'm just gonna give it an A tier, just because I didn't really feel entirely good about getting everything in it, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. So I still think it's pretty much worth going through, and especially if you like Picross puzzles and stuff like these, it's still a good time to do regardless. Or even if you just like detective dramas and stuff like that, it definitely feels that niche as well too. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it at least. PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. I did complete this game. It took a little bit because I think I had to play through with every character, and I had to get a bunch of different super combinations with some of them. Some of them which are very very specific. Also, if I remember, this game did have online achievements, which is a big no no, big no no. um, Overall though, and I think also the game is kind of dead at this point too, because no one really plays it online anymore too. So I can't really recommend completing it, especially for that aspect alone. But I think it was still a fun playthrough at least for sure. It was an interesting Smash alike, a different take on the genre for a platform fighter. Um, I still think I like how Smash and the other games do it more, just because the super kill method of the game is interesting, and a lot of them are avoidable, so it makes it feel kind of cheap. But and a lot of them are actually unavoidable too. So there's that. But it kind of is what it is. I would say it was a decent playthrough at least. I didn't mind completing it just for the sake of it, but online achievements are cancer. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I would say that again. I would definitely recommend a playthrough of it if you like platform fighters. But I don't know if I would recommend going through completion for it, especially because of the fact that I'm pretty sure you have to do online stuff for it, and yeah, it's not very fun. All right, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is okay to complete. There was some stuff in the game that was definitely a little harder to do than others. Um, Kingdom Hearts, actually, I'm gonna put an A tier just kind of as my like main thing for it. Um, Kingdom Hearts as a series, I noticed with all the games I played and try to complete over the course of the series, they're very good at giving you like a really good gameplay that is nice to beat, but then they fill it with all of these different like mini games and sometimes silly mini games with higher stakes in each time they to do it. And for completion, you have to do everything. So some of them aren't the best to go through, and it kind of bogs down the entire experience as a whole when you have to complete it for completion. Uh, so again, just because of the completion aspect for that, I would some of them are fun to do and some of them are fine to do, but others are a little bit of a struggle. Like this one here, I think this one has mainly is the gummy ship missions and the flan mini games. Those are the two ones that are just like also the cooking mini game. Some of the cooking mini games are a little hard to get through too. Um, but overall, the game itself by itself was a good experience. Especially some of like the stuff after Remind that they give you to do for the harder challenges in those. Those are pretty hype and pretty cool. But as completing the entire package as a whole, can't entirely recommend that because yeah, it's just not over. Actually, I would put in B. It's probably better. Now that I'm saying all this about it, it's better as a B tier because the whole game is fine to beat, and there's parts of it that are very nice, but I can't really recommend going through the completion for it just because it's there's just a lot to do and not a lot of it is enjoyable. So that's kind of like where the middle of the road for completion on games kind of withers down to is it's if it's not enjoyable or if it's really hard and stupid to do, it's not worth doing it. Smash Brothers Ultimate. I actually really did enjoy completing this game. It took me a while to get through things because I had to do an entire another playthrough of World of Light, which that was interesting. In retrospect, I probably didn't even have to do that playthrough, but I did anyways. And but you know, getting all the stuff for it, it was pretty good. I really like this platform fighter. It's still one of my favorite games that I play to this day. Um, they have a lot of stuff to do in the game, especially for single player content. Like they actually maxed out a lot of the stuff they can do for single player content in this game. Like you can kind of keep going with it for hours, even if you don't play with people online. They give you a whole lot to do and a whole lot of things that you can keep track of. A lot of which I don't do anymore because I've basically maxed out what I needed to with it. Uh, but no, it's an overall pretty good package deal. Um, it's a lot better if you get the DLC, but it's very hard to convince people to spend $120 on a game. So, not sure if I can do that. I did it. You don't have to, but I would say it's definitely still one of the best platform fighters out there. It's it's very hard to beat it when it comes to the genre, at least. So yeah, no, it definitely deserves S rank in my opinion. I'm actually trying to think of main challenges that were like hard to do in it. Again, the main challenges that were hard to do with it, I think, was there was the one that you had to beat the World of Light bosses without losing your first guy. Like you had to do it the first time through. It wasn't too bad. I still was able to do it, but you have to. I think you have to put the game difficulty down to make it feasible. And then, obviously, the other process comes from trying to get every single spirit in the game, because even I don't technically have every single spirit in the game because they keep releasing some over time, and they're like event specific. So if you don't get them during the event, then good luck trying to get them ever in rotation again. I think you can still buy them out in the shop, but you have to find the rate for them to come up, and it's yeah. Overall, though, I still liked everything else about it, but those are like the main two challenges I faced in the game was the spirits and the World of Light challenge. I did complete Infamous 2. It was definitely a game that it wasn't too hard to get through the completion for it. There were some things in it that were a little bit harder to do than others, but I still liked it overall. I don't know if I loved it like as much as I did these other games, but it was a decent one to go through. I think it was a decent one to platinum too because again I think you have to do I think you technically have to do at least 3 different playthroughs of it because you have to do one for good karma, bad karma, and then I think there's something I think somewhere for middle of the road maybe. I'm not entirely sure actually. Or there's one I think good bad, and then there's a bad good one too, something like that. But it was overall not too bad though. I uh, I really I really like the electric powers in this game and going through the open world and doing all the stuff in it. Um, the combat's really nice in the game too. It gives you a decent amount to do. I don't remember a whole lot just because I did this in a long time ago. I did a completion for it a long time ago, but I did enjoy it at least. It was a good game to go through all the way through at least. Now I think about it, I don't think I actually put yeah, I didn't put Infamous Second Son in here, which I'm not sure why. I thought I did complete that game. Maybe there's like a few things I didn't do yet in the game. Maybe that's why. But that would basically be in the same tier here if I had it here. Infamous Second Son would also be here for basically the same reasons. It was a lot of the same basically. We only got 4 games left, guys. Ooh. So far, I kind of like the placement of all of these too. I don't think any of these are like bad takes so far. Although I think it is funny now that I'm looking at the list too. I think it's funny that a game like A Building Full of Cats outranks Mario Galaxy 2 or even Sonic Frontiers or Kingdom Hearts. I think that's so funny. Like seeing this by itself is funny, but when you put it in the completion aspect, I think that's kind of where it lies ultimately in. All right. Next game on the list, I'm going to do Skyward Sword. Oh god, this is a long time ago again too. Um I remember mostly going through this with a guide with Chris when I was playing it. It was one of those games I did I was very much with trying to complete because it was just kind of something that we did when we were hanging out. We just boot up Skyward Sword and we just go through completion for it. Um I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember having to go through all of the trials and stuff for it and getting everything in the game for it. It wasn't that hard to do per se, but it was just a lot to do, I guess. Um, but I didn't really feel like I was getting a whole lot out of the experience. I was mostly playing it because I was playing it with Chris. But overall, I think it was fine. Yeah, it's kind of basically what I was just saying. It's along the same line as the rest of these. It was a fine experience in my opinion to go through. This is the old one too on the Wii. So yeah, it was all right though. Uh, these next ones are gonna be funny to do. Okay. Katamari. We love Katamari Reroll Reverie. I did complete this pretty recently. Because I think I got all the achievements and stuff for it, and I cleared all of the main stuff for it. Um, I think the main thing I haven't gotten in this game is like all of the actual objects, but some of those are hard to get in the Eternal mode. But really, who's really counting those? You know, I don't think the game definitely didn't because it wasn't part of one of its trophies. So I basically did everything in this game though. The only thing I did, the weird main thing that you can do now in the game is just kind of complete the thing where you just keep getting roses over time until you get, I think he said like 10 million or something like that, which is a ridiculous number by the way. But the new content in the game was pretty cool though. I actually like some of the challenges and stuff that they added with it, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing a new Katamari game implement those kind of things more because it was an interesting way to go about it instead of the regular, you know, roll everything up and get into this mode. It was like there was like challenges to it and specific things you had to do and objectives you had to meet, which I thought that was a cool way to go through the game. It was a neat little take on it. But overall, I think in terms of completion, I actually really did enjoy it. Um, there's some parts of it that were kind of tedious to go through, like some specific challenges and some specific areas. It was hard to get things in, but I mean, this game is just enjoyable by itself. I really love it. It's one of my favorite game series ever, actually, just because of the simple gameplay loop of rolling things up. It's so weirdly satisfying, and I definitely look forward to doing any more Katamari games. Um, which actually, to be fair, again, because this is technically the only Katamari game I've really completed on here, I kind of want to go back through the regular Damacy reroll, and I want to see if there's anything left in that I haven't done. Because I feel like I can easily go through that if I needed to, and I would like to actually. Oh, okay. But no, S rank for me at least for sure. Um, next game. This is an easy game to complete. Nekopara Volume 0. So I'll just put this out there for all of you guys. Do not play Nekopara 0 until you play the rest of the series. Don't make the mistake I did. It is very much a game that is like an OVA to the rest of the game, despite its numerical placement in the series. It definitely is on a. It's a thing where you kind of have to know the rest of the characters to do it. Cat Girls means it's S tier. I don't know about all of that. The actual completion aspect for this game is again very simple. The only things that buy trophies that they really make you do is you just go through the main event, you play through the game in all the different languages, and you make their boobs jiggle a little bit. um, and yeah, it's basically the main thing. Because again, this game only has one major plot thread that goes throughout from beginning to end, so there's not really a whole lot of variation to it. So it's very easy to complete in that aspect. I probably would like it a lot more had I played the other games, but just in the aspect of how it was, I mean, again, it was definitely all right. I don't know if I would recommend it as S tier. You also have to pet all the girls to complete it. That's also true. Yeah. I just feel it's funny too because I feel weird about putting it in S tier just because I don't know a lot of the context behind the cat girls yet. Um, I bet you if I once I go back and actually go through the rest of the series and then I go through this game again, I'll probably agree with this placement a lot more. But I'll go ahead and put it here just because, again, if you like the Nekabara series, I think it's definitely worth going through and completing because it's very easy to do so. So yeah, why not? Hold on, I'm gonna put this up on cool. There you go. All right, we have finally reached our last game, guys. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. I you'll kind of notice a trend of some of the games that I have rated highly and that I have completion for is a lot of them are visual novels. And this is no exception to that rule. It is very much the same thing. So yeah, the main I really liked Murder Sonic the Hedgehog. Again, in terms of completion, there's really not a whole lot outside the realm that the game makes you do. I think actually, really honestly, you kind of completed really throughout your first playthrough because you have the main thing that you go through from beginning to end. And I don't actually know if the game makes you go through any more other things. You do you do have some like choices technically, but they all still kind of lead to the same place. Um, but yeah, overall it was just a really good game. I really think that Sega should start doing more games like these with their characters because I think the Sonic cast and their personalities have really good potential for like either a visual novel or some kind of story based thing. They have a lot of good potential for it, and this game kind of really showed off that you could make a really good game off of just the Sonic characters' personalities and their interactions with each other. So I'd like to see more of this kind of thing at least. I think it was definitely really, even if it was just an April Fool's joke, I think it was a really cool experience overall. And like I said, it's very very easy to complete. So if you like Sonic, you like visual novels, you like murder mysteries, give it up for Murder of the Sonic the Hedgehog. You'll get what you want. You'll get what you need from that. right. But yeah, I think that is basically gonna do it here. Um, Let me again kind of look through again. If you guys have anything to say about this tier list and the placement of these, please speak up because I would very much love to debate while we have some time here at the end. But I'm pretty happy with this placement, to be fair. We only have one bad game that I've completed, which I think overall kind of speaks pretty well to how well my thing has gone through for completion in games. So far, I haven't tried to complete any games that I dislike, at least. There is some games though that are harder to do and go through than others. I'm actually wondering if I should put Kingdom Hearts down to C, just because again, like I said, the completion aspect is a little messy on that one for me. But I do like parts about it. I think that's why I think I'm okay with it in B, because the game has good highs, but also has some pretty bad lows overall. I still like it as a package though, as a package deal at least. Love having a Morris here. I know sometimes too they have like placements inside tier lists of like which games are better than others in the tiers, because it kind of usually goes from bot top left or bottom right, kind of in that kind of aspect. I don't know if I can rank them that way per se. I'm okay with them being in just the tiers like that. I think they're fine if they're grouped in the same tier, because that's really how I kind of feel about all of it. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. I suppose we'll have to leave it up to the internet to figure that one out. So yeah, I think we're gonna end things here. I'm gonna upload this later on my socials so everyone can judge my tastes and see how well that goes. And of course, this will also be uploaded to YouTube for the VOD, so people can see the reasons why I put these things up here in the way I did. So, but I think this is a fine list here at least. I think at least for sure the next tier list I'm gonna try doing is I'm gonna try probably doing games I've beaten, and that's gonna be a long running series, which is kind of why also I'm hesitant to start it because I know it's gonna be a while till it's actually finished. Um, but I think even just doing every game I've beaten on a certain platform, I think would be a good talking point. I'm not exactly sure which one to go through with first. It's going to take years to do. Yeah, but I would eventually like to do it. I think it's a funny project at least. I have a lot of other tier list projects I've thought about doing. Like, let's see, actually. I'm also wondering if I should make it my main free day for fun kind of thing to do too. Oh, actually, another thing I thought about doing, because again, I don't really talk about it a lot on live stream. I thought about doing a musical tier list actually, where I actually go through either like albums or songs and stuff that I've listened to, and I rank them. That might be interesting. Actually, it would be a lot easier to do it by album if I am perfectly honest. I think probably to at least ease into it. No dubstep. Well, that might be for a later one. But I think just to at least ease into the music genre tier lists, I might make my next tier list live stream I do the video game soundtracks because I've listened to quite a lot of them, and or at least that's kind of like a thing I'm thinking of too. Just video games I played, and at least I have a good notable soundtrack that you can listen to. Rate them based on that. So I think that would be fun. I would have to try to find a list for it and find a list of games that I want to do for it, and see how well that will go out, because there's a lot of good games that have a lot of good soundtracks, especially rhythm games. Um, Rhythm games would be a strong contender on that kind of list, although I don't know if that would be kind of technically cheating. But some of them do have some original songs, so it's not really like entirely cheating. Because that's kind of what I would have to do for it. I would judge the games purely by its original soundtrack rather than songs it might have added from other things, you know. So yeah, like games like Osu. Yeah, it has a few things in it, but it's not really known for it at least. Um, I think that'll be a fun project though. Um, that's probably not going to be for another couple streams though, because I'm kind of going on a rotation now with these, where I'm doing um, this one Steam stream and then a Blue Draws, and then just going back to that rotation. So we have another 6 streams of these to do before my next Blue Place that I'm going to be doing. So next game is going to be a Steam stream, which I might be able to do tomorrow because I don't think I'm going to be able to do D&D with the boys because it's going to be late, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to be game to do that. But I will have enough time to do a live stream at least, so that could be fun. We'll have to see about it. I'm pretty sure I will though, so possibly look forward to uh, gas station simulator tomorrow, so I can where I try that out on stream for the first time. But yeah, I'm gonna end things here. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you actually, I'm gonna keep it up here just so the thing's on here still. Here you go. So if you like this, please like it, subscribe and follow if you see more of it in the future. And gas station simulator, let's go. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, tomorrow we might do some more Steam streams. So new games, yay! New games finally, after playing the same ones for so long. Okay. I'll see you guys all later for that one though. And of course more Neptunia goodness in the later week as well too. All right, but bye now.